Her best friend openly disrespected me, and my wife defended her, saying, "That's just how she is." I said, "I understand." The next day, I accidentally revealed a secret to the friend's fiancé. Now, Miss How She is single. I, 32 male, am an accountant. I know it's not a thrilling job, but I'm good at it. I notice the patterns, the little details people think they can hide. I see the numbers that just don't add up. My wife is the total opposite. She's the life of the party, bright, loud, and she is pathologically loyal to her best friend. Let's call her Friend. Friend is one of those people who calls herself brutally honest, which everyone else knows is just code for being a manipulative, entitled jerk. Her whole personality is being this high-powered boss babe entrepreneur. She runs a small PR firm who tells it like it is. For the entire decade I've known my wife, I've had to sit there and do that tight-lipped smile while Friend made jokes about my job being counter, my clothes. Did you buy that at a department store? And my hobbies, reading, like books. How quaint. And every single time, my wife would just laugh, that nervous little giggle, and punch her arm. Oh, that's just how she is. She loves you, really. This past weekend, we hosted a barbecue at our house. It was supposed to be a joint celebration for a friend and her new fiancé. This fiancé is, or was, a decent enough guy. He owns a successful chain of local car dealerships, seems genuinely head over heels for her, and also seems just a little out of his league. He's classic new money and friend with her old money-adjacent PR firm. Clearly made him feel like he'd finally made it into circles he'd always wanted to be in. The whole afternoon, Friend was holding court. She was telling these loud, obnoxious stories, and every single one seemed engineered to end with a casual dig at me. And then I told the client, "If you want to play in the big leagues, you can't be dressing like my bestie's husband." "No offense, sweetie," she said, winking at me. I just smiled, flipped the burgers, said nothing. Fiancé laughed, but it was that strained, forced laugh of someone who isn't sure if the joke is funny, but knows they're supposed to. The real Flashpoint came later. We were all sitting around the fire pit. Fiancé was talking about a new dealership he was excited about opening. I, being the bean counter I am, asked a simple, normal question about the local zoning laws and tax incentives. Friend cut me off, mid-sentence. She let out this huge, braying laugh that made everyone wince. "Oh my God, stop. You're going to put us all to sleep. Zoning laws? Seriously." She turned and grabbed my wife's arm. "I don't know how you do it. It's a miracle you landed a man at all, but this one, wow." She looked right at me, her smile all teeth. "You really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel, huh?" The circle went dead quiet. You could hear the ice melting in people's drinks. My wife just giggled, that awful, nervous giggle, and punched her arm. "Stop it. You're so bad." Friend leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial, carrying whisper. "It's fine. Good thing she's got me to show her the good life. Since you're so busy, counting your little pennies." I didn't say a word. I just stood up, gathered the empty plates, and went inside. I didn't look at my wife. I didn't look at anyone. The party died down pretty quickly after that. Later that night, my wife came to bed. She was pretending to be annoyed. "You're mad," she said. It wasn't a question. She disrespected me in my own home, in front of her new partner and all our friends. "Oh, come on." My wife sighed, that long-suffering sigh I've come to hate. It's the sigh that says I'm the problem for not being a good sport. You know she doesn't mean it. That's just how she is. She's just unfiltered. You need to let it go. I turned over to look at her in the dark. I felt absolutely nothing. Just a very cold, very clear click in my brain, like the last gear in a complex machine finally slotting into place. "I understand," I said, and I meant it. Then I went to sleep. I did understand. I understood that my wife had just drawn her line in the sand. She would always choose her friend's feelings over my dignity. And I understood something else. I understood how she is better than my wife ever could. See, about 6 years ago, long before this fiancé, my wife begged me to help Friend with her taxes. Her business was new, and she was so overwhelmed. I spent exactly one weekend with her books. One, it was a dumpster fire. Not just messy, not just creative accounting. It was actively, criminally fraudulent. We're talking $50,000 in consulting fees from an untraceable offshore account, writing off a trip to Aruba as a client scouting mission, claiming her rent, her car, her designer clothes, everything as a business expense. There was absolutely zero documentation. It was a house of cards built on wishful thinking and a felony. I gave her the books back. I told her, as professionally as I could, I cannot sign this. This is not just wrong. This is lose my license and go to prison wrong. You need to refile your last 2 years immediately, and you need a forensic account, not me. I told my wife, your friend is either a con artist or the most clueless person I've ever met, or both. Do not ever lend her money. Do not ever co-sign anything. Stay away from her finances. My wife was furious with me. You're just jealous of her success. You're too rigid. You don't understand how her business works. It was one of the biggest fights of our marriage. I dropped it, but accountants, we never forget. So, at that same barbecue, just before the bottom of the barrel comment, I'd been inside getting more ice. I walked out the patio, and friend was on her phone, huddled by the rose bushes, whispering angrily. She didn't hear me. I only caught a few seconds before she saw me and snapped her phone shut, but my hearing is excellent. I don't care what you have to do. He's totally bought in. Once we're married, his investment is going to clear out my student loans and that other problem. He's so desperate to be part of the in crowd, he'll sign anything. Just keep them quiet for 2 more months. 2 more months. When she insulted me 10 minutes later, that click I felt was her phone call connecting to the books I saw 6 years ago. The investment, the other problem. After my wife fell asleep, I got up. I went to my office. Accountants know where to look. I didn't hack anything. I didn't break a single law. I just used public databases, county court records, state business filings. It took me less than 30 minutes. Her successful PR firm had 2 recent judgments against it, one from a caterer, one from a freelance graphic designer, both for non-payment. Small potatoes. But then I found the big one. A lawsuit filed 8 months ago by a major local restaurant group. Breach of contract, wire fraud, and misrepresentation. They had hired her for a massive grand opening. She'd taken their $100,000 retainer and done nothing. No press, no event. Just ghosted them. The case was settled out of court, but the initial complaint and the judgment for dismissal are right there on the public docket. That was the other problem. She was paying it off in installments, and she was running out of money. Her investment from the fiancé wasn't for the business. It was to pay off the people she'd already scammed. I sat there looking at the screen. This wasn't just how she is. This was a predator. A common garden variety con artist. And she just insulted me in my own home, while my wife, her enabler, defended her. My moral dilemma lasted about 30 seconds. I knew where the fiancé got his coffee. He'd mentioned it at the barbecue. A little high-end cafe near his flagship dealership. He said he was there every morning at 7:30 a.m. like clockwork. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. The next morning, I was at the cafe by 7:15, sitting at a small table with the Wall Street Journal. I don't even read the print edition. It was a prop. I drank my black coffee. I waited. 7:29 a.m. Fiancé walks in. He's on his phone, looking stressed, rubbing his temples. He orders his coffee, turns and spots me. He actually looked relieved to see a semi-familiar face. Hey, Opie's name. Man, what are you doing in this part town? Oh, meeting a client early. I folded the paper. Tough morning. He sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. You have no idea. Listen, man, I wanted to apologize for yesterday. Friend, she was way out of line. The things she said to you, not cool. This was it. The door was wide open. Don't worry about it, I said, waving it off. That's just how she is. My wife says it all the time. I said it flatly. No anger, no humor. Just a cold, dead statement of fact. He paused, studying me. Yeah, yeah, that's what everyone says. He leaned against the table, lowering his voice. Hey, you're an accountant, right? A smart numbers guy. That's me, the bean counter. He winced. Yeah, sorry. Look, can I ask you something? Off the record? Shoot. We're doing our prenups. And her business. It's a mess. My lawyers are pulling their hair out. They can't get a clear valuation. She's got all these projected earnings, but the actual books, she says it's creative PR accounting, and they just don't get it. I let out a small, quiet, dry laugh. What? He asked, his eyes narrowing. Oh, nothing. I took a sip of my coffee. It's just, creative is the word for it. All right. I helped her with her taxes once. Years ago, as a favor to my wife. I had to walk away. His face tightened. He put his coffee down. What do you mean, walk away? I said, leaning in, my professional license wouldn't let me sign my name to it. Unverifiable income from offshore accounts. Writing off a trip to Aruba as a client scouting mission. It was aggressive. I told her then, if you get audited, you're not just paying fines, you're potentially facing jail time. He went pale. She told me she's never even been audited. She said she's too smart for them. That's lucky. I shrugged, as if it were no big deal. I'm sure she's cleaned it all up since then. She must have, especially after that big lawsuit from the restaurant group named Guys. That had to be a real wake-up call for her. He froze. His hand was gripping the table. Lawsuit? What lawsuit? I put on my best. Oh no, I've said too much face. Oh man, you don't know? I am so sorry. I just assumed. It was a big filing last year. Case number, I'm pretty sure. It was a heck of a thing. They sued her for fraud, took a 6-figure retainer, and just vanished. Settled it, of course. She told me they were a nightmare client who changed their mind and tried to stiff her. That's one way to put it. I started packing up my paper. Look, I've said way too much. It's really none of my business. My wife would literally kill me. But you seem like a decent guy. You're about to merge your finances with her. My only advice as a professional, don't have your lawyers talk to her lawyers. Have your lawyers pull the public records. Judgments, liens, the whole thing, against her and against her LLC. It's all there if you look. I stood up, clapped him on the shoulder. He didn't even flinch. He was just staring into space. Good luck with the new dealership. I walked out, got in my car, and drove to my actual boring job, feeling colder and lighter than I had in years. The bomb wasn't just planted. The fuse was lit. I didn't hear anything for 2 full days. Life was perfectly normal. My wife was a little cool toward me, still upset that I'd been moody and ruined the vibe at the barbecue. I just worked, did my job, balanced my ledgers, waited. It happened on Wednesday night. I was on the sofa, reading. My wife was in the kitchen. Her phone, on the coffee table, started buzzing, and buzzing, and buzzing. It was vibrating so hard it was rattling against my water glass. She picked it up, saw the screen, and her face went white. It was a friend. My wife answered, her voice trembling. Hey, what's... She listened for a moment, said, What? Slow down. I can't understand you. And then her eyes shot across the room and locked on me. I just looked at her, and I didn't smile. Hey, what? My wife whispered into the phone. She was shaking. He called off the wedding? Why? She listened again, and now tears were streaming down her face. He accused me of what? Fraud? What is he talking about? I could hear the shrieking, even from across the room. My wife hung up the phone. She just stared at me, her face a mask of dawning, horrified realization. What? She whispered. Did you do? What do you mean? I asked calmly, turning a page in my book. He's gone. Her fiancé. He called off the wedding. He accused her of fraud, of hiding lawsuits and massive debt. He had a case number. He said he found out she was just trying to marry him for his money. How? How would he know any of that? Before I could answer, there was a pounding on our front door. Not a knock, a fist, pounding so hard the frame rattled. My wife flinched. I sighed, put my book down, and opened it. It was a friend. She looked like a Category 5 hurricane. Mascara everywhere. Hair a mess. But the entitlement was still there, burning like a furnace in her eyes. She pushed past me, shoved me. "You!" she shrieked. But not at me, at my wife. "You have to fix this. This is your fault. Your psycho-pathetic husband. He must have found something. He must have told him. You tell him to call Fiancé right now and say he was wrong, that he misread, that it was a different person. He'll listen to you. You're my best friend. You're supposed to protect me. You OWE me. After all I've done for you. Fix it." My wife was just sobbing. I don't know what. Then the friend turned on me. "And you jealous, pathetic little bean counter. You did this. You couldn't stand that I was happy. You couldn't stand that I was successful and you're nothing. You're trying to ruin my life because you're pathetic and boring." I just looked at her. No anger. Nothing. "I didn't ruin your life," I said, my voice perfectly calm. "I just accidentally mentioned some public information to him. Information he, as your future husband and financial partner, had a legal right to know. Things you were actively and illegally hiding from him. I'll eschew you. Slander. Libel. Slander is spoken. Libel is written. I corrected her out of habit. And in the United States, truth is an absolute defense. Everything I mention is a matter of public record. If you sue me, we go to discovery. And I promise you, your ex-fiancé's legal team would love to see what I find in your actual books. So go ahead. Please, file the suit." She just deflated. The rage just vanished, replaced by a panicked, ugly animal-like sob. She turned back to my wife. Her last hope. "Please, you're my best friend. Don't let him do this to me. He'll listen to you. Tell him to stop." My wife looked from her to me and just broke. She covered her face. "Get out," I said to friend. "My wife." She stammered. "Get out of my house." She finally stumbled out the door, still wailing. I closed it. I locked the deadbolt. My wife was crumpled on the sofa. You destroyed her. She was my best friend. Her life is over. This was it, the moment of truth. "No," I said, walking past her to the kitchen to get a glass of water. "I didn't destroy her. That's just who she is. Remember? That's your line. A liar, a con artist. And you defended her every single time. You chose her. You told me to tolerate being disrespected, to be the bigger man, to just let it go as I was being humiliated in my own home. So, I understand my place. I was the guy whose humiliation you would accept to keep your friend happy. I turned to face her. But I don't have to accept her. You made your choice. And I made mine. That was 3 months ago. Miss How She Is not just single. Her ex-fiancé's legal team, in the course of their own due diligence, accidentally passed along their findings to the other clients she defrauded. She's now under state investigation. She's ruined. My wife and I were in counseling. She's trying to untangle loyalty from enabling. I'm waiting. I meant what I said. I'm not a bottom-of-the-barrel guy. I'm the guy who keeps the receipts. I didn't set out to be a villain.